This episode of Grounded in Maine is sponsored by ESG Review. ESG Review magazine is published quarterly in February, May, August, and November and is available for free in print and digital formats. ESG Review is devoted to environmental, social, and governance strategies, technologies, and investments. ESGreview.net is updated every Wednesday with 8 new stories and is home to feature articles, news items, and more. Visit esgreview.net to stay informed and help us spark the collaboration and awareness needed to develop sustainable economies and communities around the world.
There's a place where there's no trouble, no more pain, no more struggle.
Grounded in Maine podcast is an open conversation about how we show up for the world. I started this podcast out of a desire to learn new ways to be sustainable because the word sustainability is big. It can be overwhelming, and I just wanted to learn, different ways to try to be part of the solution and not feel like it's too late. So I'm talking to people who are doing different things and learning so much. I hope you are too. Hi there. Thank you so much for listening to Grounded in Maine today. My name is Amy Fagan. I have 2 guests today, technically 3, but one is a silent member. So I am talking with Maine Community Solar. This is the second time that they've been on the podcast, but before it was just Tony. And Tony brought his cousin / business partner, John. So this is Tony and John Napolitano of Maine Community Solar, and they're doing a special. This is a bonus episode, and it's special to Earth Day, or Earth Month, I should say, since it's after Earth Day already. But they were busy on Earth Day doing projects, and they've got a special going all this month. Not special. They've got a sort of I'm not going to say competition. I'm going to say competition, but it's not really that. So they are. I'm doing air quotes here, debating which is more worthy of a donation at the end of this month to celebrate Earth Month. So they are debating whether trees or seas are more worthy of a donation. So it's a fun thing. Everyone obviously is worthy of that donation, trees and seas and all the other things, but they just wanted to do something fun and special to remember this month. And so we're doing that. That's what we're doing. It's just a fun conversation, and also just to remind everyone about community solar in general, because it is an option for so many people, and it is such a great, easy option for people. So I'm going to have you listen to this. It is really fun, and it was my second time talking to John, but it's always fun talking to Tony, and the rivalry between these two guys is super fun. So I hope you enjoy this. Please feel free to share it with somebody who might be able to use community solar or might get a kick out of this fun banter. I hope that you're having a great Earth Month. I'm going to get right to this episode. So enjoy, and thank you so much for listening. Today I have a bonus episode to celebrate Earth Day, and I brought back Tony from Maine Community Solar and his business partner / brother John Napolitano, and so we are going to be talking about Earth Day. And you guys just had a big Earth Day celebration. You did some fun stuff, right?
Yeah, we did. Absolutely. Every Earth Day.
What kind of stuff did you work on? You were doing some cleanup, right?
Yeah. So we have a little bit of a tradition. We get together as a company and we go down and we clean up Back Cove. So we meet down there, and a bunch of people from the office, and we break up into teams and we go around. You would be probably not surprised, but definitely horrified at the amount of trash there is kicking around Back Cove in Portland. So, we spend about an hour down there. doing something good for the community. And yeah, then we this year we met back here at the office and just did a little Earth Day celebration with our team.
Mm, okay. That's awesome. So you do the same thing every year? You do the Back Cove?
Yeah, we do the Back Cove thing. It's big in Portland. Everyone knows Back Cove. So many people run on it, use it, stuff like that. And it's pretty nearby our office. So, like one of the cool things about Earth Day, I think, is that it's an opportunity for people to stop like their super busy lives and reflect and do something positive, right, for the environment. And we're not trying to make it too hard on people. Like people come to the office anyway on Monday. This is right down the street. It works out really well.
Yeah. I mean, and it's a great team building activity as well. Very cool.
Yeah, it's super team building. Like obviously we're about sustainability and all that. I'm always psyched and impressed at how into sustainability and doing this together our team is. They love it. They really enjoy getting together as a team and doing something positive for the community.
Yeah. And I know, I mean, I used to work at a hotel in housekeeping, and so to see like the before and the after is super satisfying. I mean, it's horrifying, but it's also satisfying. When you're like, "Ooh, it's good," and so, Back Cove, of course, would be a perfect place to focus on every year because it gets so much traffic.
Mhm.
And then just to beautify that a little bit and say, we did that because we care. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Thanks.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
And then you did an activity back at the office, you said.
Yeah, I mean, we are big on team building and culture and stuff like that. So, yeah, we just got a bunch of snacks and refreshments, and we invited everyone back to the office. And we all just hung out and talked and got to know each other and stuff like that. Spent some time together. I did a little presentation about it was kind of a internal thing presentation about kind of where we've been, where we're going, our commitment to our team members, stuff like that. So we kind of rolled that. It just seemed appropriate, like Earth Day, like let's reflect on what we're doing. Why are we here? Why are we doing it? All of that. So
Awesome. And then,
yeah.
so in case somebody did not listen to our previous episode, Tony, John, do you want to fill us in on what Maine Community Solar is?
Yeah, well, Maine Community Solar, yeah, it's a good question. So it's kind of speaking of when Tony did his presentation, it really reflects back onto how we kind of started the company, right? It's all about kind of Earth Day and our true values with sustainability and renewable energy. So we're really passionate about it. Tony's been in renewable energies for 20 years, published a couple of green home building magazines. So when I found out about the opportunity, naturally he was the first one I kind of gravitated towards, right? So it really does mean everything to us, and we are really passionate about the sustainability aspect of everything that we do. It's one of those things that you can really get behind, really feel good about getting up every morning, coming into work, knowing that you're really leaving the place a little better than you found it the day before. We all have families, we all have kids. Even if we don't see the benefits of it right off the bat, it's like not glaring right in our face. We know that in the long run, our kids, their kids, our grandkids, things like that are really going to benefit from all the efforts and time that we're spent building this company and helping the communities out around us. So, Maine Community Solar, we're all about uh, giving everybody the opportunity to practice sustainability. Everybody with joining these solar farms, they're free. The state backs this program. It allows people to opt into it. And we can't give it to everybody because obviously there's not enough capacity for everybody, right? Or else it would just automatically put everybody in the program. The first come, first serve thing. And we're out there educating customers on it, allowing them and showing them how to actually opt in and take advantage of the program.
Mhm.
They're going to get 15% or so off their electric bill at home. Commercial customers and residential customers can all participate. That's what kind of we really loved about the opportunity when we looked at it. That really is a paradigm shift in solar energy, right? Everybody can join this program. It's free to do. It's easy to do. Listen, you're not going to get rich off this, right? You're going to save a nominal amount of money each month on your bill, but you can really get rich off the feeling that you're doing something positive.
Mm.
That's what it's all about. It's all about getting in, kind of doing your part. If everyone does their part, and it's not a huge part, it's a pretty simple part to play. If everyone takes a minute, does their part, we can really make a huge difference. So that's what it is. We go around, we advocate for community solar programs, help people opt into the program, and just educate the communities.
Yeah, I love that so much about Maine Community Solar because there are so many people that are renting or can't afford to put solar panels on their building. But the community solar, the solar farms are out there so that people can benefit and feel good about being part of renewable energy and just using what is naturally there.
Yeah, there's a lot of barriers to entry to having your own panels, right? There's maybe your roof isn't engineered to handle the load. Maybe it's not facing in the southward direction. You
Right.
have too many trees, or listen, a lot of people don't have thousands and thousands of dollars. They just kick to a solar project on their home, right? Or you may not qualify for the financing. Just breaks down all those barriers to entry. It really, truly is something that everybody can participate in and feel good about at the same
Yeah,
time.
totally. Totally. All right. And so we are going to be talking about trees and seas, which I makes me giggle every time because they rhyme. But trees and seas. And so you guys are each taking one or the other. So Tony, you're taking on trees and John, you're taking on the seas. And so we're just going to talk about like what's important about that, you know? So, but we should start off with Earth Day. So Earth Day is the significance of Earth Day, we all kind of understand what that is, but in case you don't know, it's a day that we set aside to just focus on the earth and doing good and where we stand and what we can do to do better a lot. And so, as a reminder to take action toward the environment and sustainability. So like it's just a day to highlight the importance of preserving and protecting nature, including the trees and seas. Aha.
Yeah. You know what? Like one of the things about Earth Day, like when Earth Day started in 1970, like it had a really strong educational component to it as well. And it was on a lot of college campuses, as you can imagine. Like that's kind of where it started, and there was this whole groundswell. So, actually, one of our team members, Lake, their dad, was at the cleanup with us, and he was at the first Earth Day in
Shut up.
1970 in Philly. Yeah, so
That's cool.
he and I had a great conversation. We're rapping about it a little bit, but yeah, I love that had that educational component. Of course, we're all about educating people, and now I think it's become one of these things where we're all so busy. Like we all like life has become so busy since. I mean, imagine how much different it is since 1970. But this is a day that we can all kind of pause for a minute and reflect and do something like you were saying, like be intentional about the environment, about the earth, about our home. And if that's something easy like picking up a few pieces of trash or signing them up for a community solar farm or whatever it may be, it's just an opportunity for everyone to stop for one day and participate, which is really cool.
Or plant some flowers.
Plants and flowers, absolutely. I love that.
All the
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's very cool. So, let's see. Okay, so trees and seas.
Hmm. Do you know about the whole trees and seas concept, like what we're doing around it and why we're doing it and all that?
Oh, no.
Okay. So really it was Monica's idea. And Monica is our marketing manager and like it's one of those things it's supposed to be fun, right? Because let's face it, we need both forests and oceans. Like we know this, right?
There's
So
not really a
and
competition. No one's gonna win.
right.
There's not like a
Yeah.
winner and a loser.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
like
well, there's going to be a win. No, not between them, but the teams are split up. There will be a winner and loser internally with us.
yes. So what we did is like we got behind this because we thought it would be a fun way to talk about it, right? Like we need oceans, we need forests, we need all of that. And also like I was saying, like our team members they're into it. Like they're into this stuff. Our customers are into it. Like how can we have a way to bring more attention on Earth Day to something other than saying what everyone always says, go do something good for the environment. So for like the entire month, we've broken up our canvassing teams that go out in neighborhoods around the state into team trees and team Cs. Okay. So it's a way to get our entire organization focused on um, the implications for Earth Day, for doing something right for the planet, like all of that type of stuff. And the I think the coolest thing that we're doing is we picked two nonprofits that we've worked with in the past. We believe in their mission. They both have an educational component and a sustainability component. And we found one that has to do with seas, saltwater classroom, one that has to do with trees, Retree US. And so if Team Seas wins, we're donating $1,000 to one of them. So basically it just depends. Whoever the winner is, that organization will get the $1,000 donation that we're doing in celebration of Earth Month.
Do I have to pick a winner?
You can. It will be noted.
And Amy, just to touch kind of base on why we really picked the season trees, Tony makes a great point, right? I mean, they're very important to Maine's ecosystem. I mean, each one of them is uniquely characterized really by its, like, let's say the trees by its vast forest and the seas by its extensive coastline. Maine's known for their coastline. That's what makes trees and seas the integral part to the environmental health, right, of Maine and the economic prosperity, really. I mean, so states, forests, they act as critical carbon sinks for us. They're absorbing all the CO2, and then the seas support diverse marine ecosystems and the fisheries. They're all centrally local livelihoods of Maine. That's really the main reasons we picked these, the season trees, to a direct reflection of Maine and what Maine is.
Okay, cool. I mean, I didn't realize that. I knew we were sort of not debating, but debating trees and seas. I did not realize it was a whole month-long team-wide thing.
Yeah.
So very cool. And I'm scared that I might have a vote in that. So I have to say, I have to be on Team Trees because my husband is an arborist, but I totally appreciate the seas. I have a lot of respect, and I do not go in them because there are sharks.
That's right. Exactly.
But there's just so much. There's so much life in the seas. I volunteer for a local farm and as a gardener, and one of the people that was volunteering with us last year was doing a study for Bowdoin College in like farming sea kelp and using the kelp in the garden. So
Cool.
So she just reported on that like 3 weeks ago, and I didn't get to go because I didn't know it was happening until after. But I mean, it would have been really cool to hear her presentation and like how that did and stuff like that. But so I mean, there's so much. I did an episode with the producer of the documentary To Which We Belong, which is talking about regenerative agriculture, and so she was talking about farming, but also sea farming, and how that is such something that we can really dig into and bank on these days, as long as we take care of the seas.
Yeah. I mean, I think in this day and age, as more people become aware of what's going on, our forests, not just in Maine necessarily, but globally, like our forests are threatened and our seas are threatened. Like that's a scary thing, right? Because where's all the carbon in the world? Like as we put more carbon in the air, it gets sequestered in the seas. That makes our seas more acidic. As we burn down rainforests and other forests, we're releasing more carbon into the air. Like this is a crazy cycle that we are not going to be able to continue, So
nobody's gonna win that.
I'm sorry?
Nobody's gonna win that.
Right. That's right.
No.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a no win.
Right, for sure. Wow. Okay, so that's really cool. I didn't know all that stuff, Tony. That's really cool. And thanks for that's super cool that you're able to talk to somebody whose grandfather was
Father.
Father.
Yeah, Lake's father was at the first Earth Day in Philly.
Insane. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, it's wild.
Whew. Wow.
That's one of the things that I really like also about what we're doing here. Not to get too far off the Earth Day topic, but I really feel like we have a cool organization. Like we do things where people bring their families. Last year to the cleanup, John brought his whole family. They came. This year they had school, but like the kids are there. Maybe our spouses or our significant others are there. We had a team member brought their dad. It's like that's cool. I love that.
It is cool, Tony. It's funny you mentioned that because I told you this the other day, but in the morning I get my little girls ready for school. They're 5 and 6 years old, and it was Earth Day, and I come in and was saying Happy Earth Day to them. And first thing they both looked at me and like, does that mean we get to go pick up the trash today? I mean, so they remembered it, right? It resonated with them. It's something that stuck with them. And I thought that was super cool. Unfortunately, I had to let them know they had to go to school, but I said that's no reason why you can't go around the playground and start picking up all the trash at your playground, right? And if anyone asks why, tell them it's because it's Earth Day, right? Um, that's one of the reasons. Obviously, you're free to pick up the trash anytime. I told them every day is Earth Day, but
Right?
especially today, if somebody asks you and tell them, help educate and talk to your students, and talk to your peers at school and stuff, and let them know that today's Earth Day and some of the cool things you did last year and you remember and you're going to do it again this year. But I thought it was really neat that they remembered that.
That's amazing. That's really cool.
Yeah,
All the things that happen with kids to that they would remember something like that. That's great.
yeah, it
Yeah,
was
I guess
awesome. Yeah,
whole family activities, so they would probably remember those family things.
yeah,
All right. So, that's awesome. I love that. 5 and 6, and they remembered that.
yeah. It was pretty wild. I was taken back by it a little bit, but it was really neat.
Super cool. All right. So, let's see. Should we start with trees or should we start with seas? Who wants to go first? And we're just talking about supporting them and why it matters.
Yeah, I
What
mean, I can talk a little bit
We'll
about the
let John go
significance.
first. He seems
And
well
I can
prepared.
Well, I mean, I can talk about like the significance of Maine's coastal marine environments. They're very important, right? I mean, the coastal marine environments here, they're renowned for their biodiversity, including the significant populations. What do we have? Seabirds, fish, marine mammals, seals, whales, you name it. We got it all out there. So these areas they're crucial, not only for biodiversity, but also for the economy. Maine's very big on the economy. Look at the lobster industry here. Since supporting these industries as fishing and tourism, that's huge for our economy in Maine. And then obviously we need to emphasize the need for ocean conservation and crucial to protecting these resources, right? From threats like overfishing. And I talked to my brother about this. My brother's a commercial tuna fisherman in the summer, so he fishes right off the Casco Bay. He goes out there and he's big time into the tuna fishing. That's what he does for a living. So we talk a lot about the overfishing and the federal regulations and stuff on that, on pollution, the impacts of climate change, all of it, really, just ensuring that they remain vibrant and protective of our future generations. So he's really practices a lot of sustainability things out there that you wouldn't really think about. That he's pretty cognizant about when he goes out there. It's pretty neat to have that conversation with him.
awesome. Okay. And oh, that's a lot of information right there. And you've got another brother.
Yeah, I get two younger brothers. Yeah.
Oh,
Actually, John and I are cousins, Amy.
are you serious?
Yes, because
Yeah.
we're cousins. Yeah,
Cousins. Oh my gosh. How did I, wow.
that's it. Listen, we might as well be brothers.
I mean, the
We grew
rivalry
up
is
together,
very
closer than most
brotherly.
brothers.
Yeah,
Okay, cousins. Sorry. All right.
that's how listen. People call us. They've called us a lot worse, Amy. Let's put it that way.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
All right. And then how about trees, Tony? What do you got for trees? Why do
Sure.
we support the trees?
Yeah, why should we support the trees? I mean, I think it's a lot of the same reasons, right? Which is what kind of makes this a fun thing. But in Maine, there's a huge economic impact for our forests, right? Like there's actually logging products made with forest stuff like that. There's a lot of like ecotourism stuff, right? People that actually come to Maine to go hiking, to go canoeing in the Allagash, to do all that type of stuff. So there's a huge kind of economic component to having healthy forests as well. But like I mentioned before, like forests they're the lungs of our planet. I think people have heard that before, right? They're a huge carbon sink, right? There's a ton of carbon that is captured and stored in forests, So from an environmental perspective, we have to have healthy forests on our planet to have a healthy ecosystem and a healthy environment. Obviously, biodiversity, yes, absolutely. We need healthy forests to have healthy biodiversity. And, Maine is one of those states that has the most forests out of any state, right? Like Maine is so not developed. We have all this contiguous forest land that's there for us, which is really amazing. So, yeah, we can't have a healthy environment without healthy forests. Certainly, Maine is known for its forests, and there's a huge economic impact as well. So, if you're into any of those things, definitely you should support Team Trees.
Okay. All right. Do you have anything to say about that, John?
No, I mean, to know Tony kind of touches on all the basics. I mean, yes, he makes a very good point. The trees are very, very important, obviously, in everything we do here.
Okay. Yeah, I got nothing to add. I mean, I know trees better than
So, I mean, yeah, I mean,
I'm
listen,
learning
the
the
trees.
trees.
Yeah, what do the trees do? They stabilize soil, right? They prevent erosion, they reduce runoff, enhancing water quality by filtering pollutants out. I mean, the trees do a lot of things, right? But that's before they even reach the water bodies that really I kind of touch base on. So the trees, the water wouldn't be the same without the trees. I mean, and really, Maine's forests, they're vital habitats for the wildlife, like Tony mentioned. They're offering the food, the shelter, breeding grounds for a variety of species. So it's pretty cool. From birds to larger animals, they are the home for a lot of species in Maine, a lot of animals in Maine, so they're vitally important.
Yeah. And I mean, for me personally, trees are like, I just think trees are beautiful. We have this gorgeous like poplar in our front yard, and it's just like when it flowers and then the wind blows and they do the little clicky
Yeah,
leaves and they're silvery, and it's just this huge tree, and I'm sad that someday it's gonna go, but it's beautiful. And I just, there's so many different kinds of trees, which is cool. We went to Alaska and there are no maple trees. So you don't have
Mm.
it's crazy. Yeah.
Have you? I mean, there's been so much research lately. Did you happen to, or I don't know, are you a reader, Amy, at all? Do you
somewhat.
like? Did you happen to read the Overstory? Did you ever hear of that book?
I did not.
It's all about trees, but there's been like a bunch of research about trees lately about like how trees communicate with each other. Like we think of trees as okay, there's a tree, but actually trees thrive together, right? And they actually communicate with each other through their roots and through different I forget the right word, but like things that they can release into the air, and so like trees communicate with each other, which is
Of
it
course.
was shocking to me. Let's say
Yeah.
that. Like when I learned this stuff, I was like, it just showed like how little we actually know about the natural world around us, and it's so amazing and I don't know, it's awe-inspiring in so many ways.
Right.
Um, so tree story for you though, since I am team trees, and you were talking about the beautiful tree in your yard. So we had in
Oh,
our
jeez, I know this.
we had a tree in our yard. We had a 60-foot weeping cherry in our yard. Excuse me. And this tree was gorgeous. We loved it. It draped over our patio, so it would provide all this shade during the summer. It was a spectacular tree. Well, about I guess probably like 5, 6 years ago now, we're at a point where we're like, do we move? Like we needed more space. Do we move or do we do an addition on our house? And we are really torn. And we would have gladly done the addition, but we're really torn because it would have required us to take down this tree. And we had Davy Tree come over and take a look at it. They were convinced it was the largest weeping cherry in the state of Maine.
Oh,
So we had this beautiful tree. It was spectacular. And it took us a lot of like soul searching. At the end of the day, it still bums me out, but we decided to take the tree down. So we took the tree down so we could build our addition, and we're super bummed about it. We did a few things, but one of the things that we really want to do is plant another cherry in our yard. So we did. We did the whole addition. We did the project. We did our landscaping, and we planted a new cherry in our yard. And it blooms every year right around Earth Day, which is
already.
yeah, which is really cool. So I'm still bummed that we took the tree down. I'm really psyched that we have the new cherry, and it's just always great every year around Earth Day to know that it's going to pop, and it's really beautiful in our yard too. So I feel
Tony, didn't you make some furniture out of that tree?
yeah, we had coffee and end tables made out of part of the tree as well, so we could
Right.
kind of have that in our house.
That's pretty cool.
I'm with you.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I love that. That's a great story. All right. So, let's see. So we talked about trees and we talked about seas, and then so like, I mean, Maine is the pine tree state, but we're
Yeah.
also known for our coastline, the rugged coastline,
Rugged seas, right?
many, many miles of coastline. Um, so how do we decide, or how do we figure out who wins this it's not an argument, but this conversation about trees and seas? How do you guys
Yeah.
decide that?
Well, I mean, I guess I feel like I said in the beginning, it's like really all we're trying to do is bring awareness to both because both are critical, right? So it's kind of it's a fun game or a fun thought experiment, but at the end of the day, there's no winner. Like we need both. And to get people thinking about the importance of the ocean and the importance of the forest and to go out on their own and explore those things, take a walk in the woods,
Yeah.
appreciate the beautiful flowering tree in your front yard, enjoy the coastline, take a boat ride, like all of that. That's really all that we want to accomplish out of doing this, Earth Month thing is to engage people in their natural surroundings. So I'm psyched about it. I think it's really cool. I'm also psyched about like Retree US. They make school gardens and they plant school orchards. Like they're doing something really cool. What is more important than teaching kids about nature? You know? And Saltwater Classroom does the same thing. They teach kids about the ocean, right? So to engage the younger generation and get them started at a young age, realizing, excuse me, how important this stuff is. Yeah, I mean, I think it's all good. It's a fun thing. I'll give Johnny the win if he wants it, but I think there are
Well,
no losers in this argument.
no, there's certainly no losers. It's not really an argument. But Amy, to your point, if people wanted to have a say in treaties or seas, we do. We have our website up. A lot of people are going to our website to enroll in community solar projects this month, or community solar programs this month. And when they do, there's an area for them to choose seeds or trees, depending on who they'd like to see the $1,000 go to, right? So if anyone wants to go to our website at mainecommunitysolar.org, they're more than welcome to enroll in a community solar program for free. And on there, if you want to pick seeds or trees, whoever does the most enrollments or whatever seeds team or trees team does gets more people to opt into the community solar programs here in the state of Maine this year. That's kind of how we're deciding where that $1,000 donation goes to.
Oh,
So
okay.
to that, I think that will answer your question a little better that you asked there.
Yeah. It wasn't really a serious question, but that's even better. Like, so if you're registering for your home for Maine Community Solar, you can actually put your vote in for whether you want,
Yes,
and then at the end of the year, at the end of the month, it'll be like tallied.
Yes,
you
yeah,
got
we're
it.
doing a
Yep.
running tally.
Super cool. I love that. And just a quick reminder for listeners, it is literally free to register to enroll in Maine Community Solar. It takes,
Yeah,
I think, Tony, you said it was like 10 minutes. It takes about 10-15 minutes to do that. Costs you nothing.
yeah,
If you are paying CMP for your bill, you can get up to 15% off every month with by using a solar farm.
yep.
That's
That's
all
right.
Yeah,
that's all you have to do.
that's it.
And then you get
It's,
to feel
it's
good
that easy.
about using renewable energy, supporting solar, and you're getting a discount.
Yeah,
Yes.
Win-win.
It's just a simple, sustainable practice that people can do and feel good about it. You
Yeah.
know.
Well, I don't know if you listened to the episode that I did with Tony, John, but when I first talked to Tony, I had just come out of my town's so Brunswick is doing a climate action workshop.
Yep.
And I had just come out of one like a day or two before I talked to Tony, and I was so bummed out. I was so bummed out because they were like, if we had, what do you guys want to the plan was like, how does how do the residents of Brunswick want to like upgrade, and like what do we want to spend money on to update and become more sustainable as a town? And people were like, yeah, I'd love to do all that stuff. I can't pay my own bills. Like I can't
right.
add bills.
Right.
And then I talked to Tony. I was like, seriously, it costs nothing. Take part in these the solar farms, and it nothing. It's it's a
Yeah.
feel good about being part of that, and it's not. it's not going to hurt you at all.
Right.
Yeah, they make you get an email. It's funny you mentioned like the town of Brunswick. We have a lot of municipalities that enroll with us, right? There are a lot of municipalities in the state of Maine that are actively subscribed to community solar farms around the state. They are, so that they all hey, listen, not only do we have to pay electric bills, so does in the town you live in. They also have electric bills for their buildings, their fire stations, their schools, things like that. So, and obviously saving money on your bottom line for a town means a lot. A lot of these towns are strapped. I mean, they want to put back. So it's a really good opportunity for the municipality to take part. And a lot of them are. A lot of them do.
Awesome. Very cool. I mean, and there's a lot of sun out there.
Yeah, right.
Not today, but a lot of the time there's a lot of sun. So we got to
For
harness
sure.
it. There's no reason to not harness that. It's not hurting anything. We're not like taking it from someone else. It's just out there. But then sustainability for the planet was one of the points that we were supposed to talk on. So what do you guys want to talk on that a little bit? Sustainability for the planet.
Sure.
We talked
I
about
mean,
Maine.
I can kind of touch on some of the sustainable practices that they use in the ocean. I mean, for ocean protection, I think that's super important. I can mention that my brother's a commercial tuna fisherman, so we have the conversation a lot about how important it is to implement like sustainable practice in ocean management. You can do anything. It includes anywhere from adopting responsible fishing methods that prevent overfishing, which they do a lot. At the federal level, they do that a lot with tuna fishing. Establishing marine protected areas to conserve biodiversity. That's a big one. Promoting sustainable aquaculture. So there's a lot of practices out there that help maintain the resilience of the ocean ecosystems, right? Allowing them to recover, inform, and adapt to the environmental stresses, which is really they really affect it. So, moreover, really, what the sustainable coastal development and the pollution control, they're crucial to really reducing the influx of the harmful substances that our oceans taking on every day from people dumping things in them and all that. The plastics that degrade marine environments. There's a lot of things that the people do for sustainable practice for the ocean protection that are out there. People should educate themselves on it. They can get on, read about them. And if you're not taking part in some of those things, you should.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think it's cool that there's a big move, like a movement to use more of the sea um stuff.
Yeah.
I'm a podcaster with no words. This is really bad. But like using the seaweed as people are using seaweed for so
They
many.
use seaweed for everything, right? I mean, you see seaweed in everything. My stepdaughter she eats these little snacks, seaweed snacks from that you can get at Target. I mean, seaweed's literally everywhere.
Yeah, and it's a natural form of
Yeah.
sodium, and it has iodine, which is very healthy for a lot of people. It supports your thyroid. But
Interesting.
and
Okay.
then
Yeah.
so you can use it as like a compost, as a fertilizer, as a food. And there's so many things, the kelp as well, you can use for fertilizer. It's crazy that I think it's great that people are getting more creative with that because 20 years ago or whatever, was that even a thought to like, I don't
No,
know.
I mean
I doubt.
climate change really wasn't, right? I mean, climate change significantly impacting the ocean systems. It really does through the warming temperatures. I mean, there's everything from acidification to rising sea levels, you name it. Those all disrupt marine life and habitat. So everyone's got to take their part. I mean, pollution, particularly, right, with all the plastic waste, chemicals, untreated sewage, those all continue to poison the marine ecosystems. So they affect both the wildlife and the trees. They affect human health. It really does trickle down effect. I mean, overfishing a lot of the times that depletes fish stocks faster than they can replenish them. So they put regulations on that. There's threatening the balance of the marine ecosystems when they don't put the caps on how much you can fish. So addressing all these challenges really they require concerted global effort. Everyone needs to take part in these things towards sustainable solutions. So we always have to include stricter environmental regulations. I mean, enhanced conservation practices, you name it. So the more everyone participates, the better the community involvement is in ocean stewardship, the better off the oceans are going to be. And that goes the same with the trees as well. Everyone's got to do their part.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. I mean, it might take some of the fun out of it to have to, harness some of the stuff and like hold back on like the fishing and stuff. But
Hmm.
we have to think about the future.
Yeah, if and then the longevity of it, listen, you gotta sometimes you gotta take one step back to get two steps forward. Tell people that all the time. So it's you just gotta be conscientious of what you're doing out there, and know that it's you gotta preserve the future for everybody too, right? It's not all about you. It's what are we doing for the future?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've got a 5 and 6 year old.
Yeah, yeah,
They got
yes. I mean, yeah, that's two of the five. So yes.
that. All right. And so yeah. uh and trees are the same. Like people, we got to stop cutting them down for silly things. There's so much recycling and reusing. I mean, what do you have to say on that, Tony?
Yeah, no, for sure. We definitely have to stop cutting them down. We have to understand forests, the way they work. I mean, what are some of the big kind of massive issues that we know about forests, like forest fires in this country, right? The burning of the rainforests in like the Amazon in Brazil, stuff like that. Like those are massive issues. Like clear cutting was an issue, and then what they were doing is replanting monoculture. That was a problem. Like that I think our forests have some real challenges, and like the only way to start addressing those is to get people to learn about the forest, get people to understand, get people to go for a walk in the woods, get people to appreciate the flowering tree in their front yard. Like then we can have these conversations, right? And then we can start taking positive action, because the fact is a lot of people don't know a lot about this stuff, right? But there's no doubt that we need the forest for sure. We need the trees. One thing that I wanted to mention, because I know Monica's brought this up a couple times, but this is a hot button issue for some people. People are afraid they're cutting down forests to build solar farms.
Hmm.
Right? So some people are afraid that's happening. That is not something that's very common. So more likely, the number one place to build a solar farm is someplace that's already been used for something else. Like one that we helped fill in Berwick, Maine. It was built on an old gravel pit that wasn't being used anymore. Right
Okay.
by my house in South Portland, there's one built on an old landfill. Right, those are the easiest ones. Things that were used for something can't be used anymore. Let's put it there. Then let's look for open space. And you would be amazed at the number of farmers or the number of landowners that call us that have
Yeah.
open land that they want to monetize. And for farmers, I mean, some people on their listeners may know, but family farms, it's tough. It's tough to make ends meet sometime for a family farms. And so a lot of family farms will say, I have this block of land, 20 acres, let's say, that I'm not using, or it's not ideal, let's say, for planting or for raising livestock. I'm going to do a 20-year land lease, and I'm going to have an income that I can count on. I know how much is coming in. It's going to be steady for the next 20 years. That's going to allow me to continue to operate my family farm in the way that I want to operate it. So, but those are the places that solar farms are built. There's not a bunch of solar developers out there just hacking down forests. And when people have doubts about that, think about how expensive it is to go into a forest and clear it, haul everything out of there, and then go build on it. They'd rather build on areas that are already open. Does that mean that there aren't trees taken down on occasion? Sure, there certainly are. But a lot of these folks, they go through the whole environmental assessment process, right?
Yes.
So they cut some down, they plant some more, and you move on. But this is not a case of us clear cutting the woods of Maine to, or any other state for that matter, to build solar farms.
Right. Well, I'm so glad that you touched on that, Tony, because I remember you telling me that before, that a lot of people, if they have, right now it's really hard to pay staff. And so some farmers have had staff and they just can't afford it. And so they have to downsize their
Yeah.
their farming. And so they've got this extra land because it's only what the family can manage.
Hmm.
And that makes so much sense. I mean, this land is just not being used. So
Let's monetize it.
yeah.
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 Heck yeah. Awesome. Um, this is so fun. This is so fun. Like it's and now I'm like better informed on it because I've already had a conversation. But it's kind of fun to have the family and the little rivalry stuff. Um, so is there anything else that you guys wanted to touch on? So we talked about trees, we talked about seas, we talked about the planet, and some myths about solar farms.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, we can touch on anything you want, Amy. I mean, it's, as long as we're just bringing awareness out there, right? I mean, we can give some. I mean, Tony, I'm sure can give some examples of, the animals that are benefiting from sustainability efforts in trees. I can certainly give you some examples of marine life benefiting from sustainability efforts in the oceans around here. Kind of obviously that are attached to Maine, really. And that goes throughout everywhere. But we're more familiar with the Maine because that's where we've lived, that's where we've grown up, that's what we're really focused on.
Right.
yeah, and I mean, one thing that I would add, before we wrap up though, is just like I always like to come back to kind of like the basics, and like what we're doing here, and that is there's a lot of information out there about community solar, right? And how it can benefit people, and people have questions, they don't understand everything about it. Like, call us. There's no obligation. We have teams of people that all they do is help answer people's questions, right? And then the people can decide on their own if it's right for them or not. And for a lot of people, it is right for them. And for a lot of people, it's an easy way to make a positive impact, do something good, and save a little bit of money. But the whole thing is that we want people to understand first. We want them to understand how the program works, what it all means, how it can benefit them. So if there's anyone out there who's like, I just don't really know about this, or I have questions, I don't know where to get the information, just give us a call. Like, that's
Yeah.
why we're here. We really want Maine to be a leader in renewable energy. Like, we think that's super important. And that's why we're doing it. So
Because it
please
starts
feel
with education.
absolutely
Yeah.
100%.
Yep.
Right? Which is why Earth Day, is so important. And that's why also these two nonprofits that we're talking about are so
Yeah.
important, right? So it does all start with education. Agreed.
Hmm. Okay. And so remind me of the beneficiaries again. So there's Retree and what coastal
Saltwater classroom.
saltwater classroom.
Yep.
Okay.
And Monica can send you links as well. If you want to include that information with the description of your podcast, she can send you those links as well.
Yep, I will have all that in the show notes of the podcast. But gosh, this is so cool. This is so fun, you guys. I'm so glad that it worked out
Thanks for having us on.
because it
Absolutely.
does to have a little fun. It makes it a little bit easier than just, like lecturing people, but
Right.
it
Oh,
is
yeah.
it is so Earth Day, of course, is such a great time to be thinking about it. Earth Day is every day, obviously, but to have a day where we can kind of really focus and that people are more a lot of people are more open to talking about that because they might the other 364 days be like, Earth, what?
Did you see our Earth Day shirts, Amy?
I did.
All right, cool. Well, we'll make sure that we send you one.
Oh my gosh, that's cool. Um but thank you guys so much for this fun debate thing, and I'm looking forward to seeing who gets the prize.
Yeah, we'll let you know for
absolutely.
sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But so the best way so John, you gave us the website before. It's mainecommunitysolar.org.
Correct.
And you guys are also I know you're on Instagram and Facebook.
Yep. Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Yes, we can be found yes, we're all over the place. So
Great.
absolutely. We're also got our offices down in Maryland as well for the Mid Atlantic. So we cover all of the Mid Atlantic as well. So people, our friends, family down there, let them know to get in touch with us. We gladly help them get enrolled in the program down there. So we do focus. I know this conversation's focused on Maine, but we operate in about 15 or 16 different states. So we're really trying to help out as many communities as possible.
Oh, I did not realize that.
Yep.
I knew Maryland, but I didn't realize so many.
In Maine, Maryland, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, New York, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland. We're in DC, some parts of Virginia. Then you get out to Colorado, Illinois. We got New Mexico's coming on board, Oregon. So it goes all the way out. Yeah, it's wild. It's pretty
I was
fun.
going to say the whole East Coast, but now you threw in like
Yeah,
Mexico and
we
Colorado and
birds.
Oregon.
Yeah. I think 23 states, Tony, correct me if I'm wrong, 23 states have adopted a community solar program. So they've signed it on into legislation. So we're making some good progress. Yeah.
And counting.
And
Yeah, and counting. Yeah. We get a bunch of states that are right on the cusp of passing their law. Maybe it's passed. It's just going to get signed in by the governor. So or by the mayor, but there's a ton of opportunity out there for people to take part and participate.
Super cool. All right. Well, John and Tony, my gosh, thank you so much for hanging out.
Amy, thank you very much.
Absolutely. Folks, this is a bonus, so it's not going to be out on Tuesday. It'll be out before Tuesday.
Nice. Thanks,
Awesome.
Amy.
Thank you. Thanks. Take care.
I just want to take a second to thank my guest again for speaking with me and sharing such great information. I love having these conversations with folks. I also want to thank Buzzsprout for hosting the podcast, for Jane Bolduck and her music genius, for Becca Coffron and her award-winning artwork. And thank you for listening. I appreciate that so much. Please check out the show notes for any links and extra information. And if you would like to follow my guest and find out more about them, I'm sure they would love the follow. And if you don't mind leaving a rating or review wherever you're listening, and just help to get this podcast in front of new eyes, that would be amazing. I would really love that. And feel free to reach out to me on the socials and let me know what you're thinking. And if you would like to be a guest on the podcast, please let me know that. I would love to have a conversation with you about sustainability. All right. Thank you again. I hope you have a great rest of the week.
There'll come a day, my mama told me, when I find love to have and hold me, a heart that's strong and so sincere. Just tell me, how do I get there from here? Oh, tell me, how do I get there from here? 'Cause here and now I'm so far down that mercy's bound to find me. We'll find a way to soothe the sickness. We'll heal the ache with sweet forgiveness. Wages of war will disappear. Just tell me, how do I get there from here? I wonder, how do I get there from here? Yeah, 'cause here and now I'm so far down that mercy's bound to find me. when that state of grace has finally found me, well, there'll be music, ooh, and good friends around me, yeah, yeah. And I'll just smile through happy tears and wonder